Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? We are here today for episode number 70 of Timberwolves Explosion. It is Saturday, September 24th, 2011. We're available on thesportstuff.com and on iTunes. I thank each and every one of you always for downloading and listening to this show. It's been a very, 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 very long time since the last show. But, hey, for back-to-back shows, Marcus the Forecaster is on the air with me for Timberwolves Explosion. This time in episode number 70. Another milestone for this show. We had record listenership on episode number 69. That was just an absolute blast. That was a long show, too. I mean, it just shows you a long show doesn't necessarily mean it's unattractive to listenership. So, great to be back on board. Well, we got a list of things to talk about, of course. Well, of course, there was the draft. We're not going to go as deep into the draft as we did in previous years because we just weren't around on time. It was just been too long, of course, since then. But we'll get into it enough that we'll be able to piece together what the future holds for this club with the expected Derek Williams, the arrival of Derek Williams. Oh, yes, there was a coaching change. Of course, all this stuff is connected, the draft, the coaching change. We'll talk about why and all that good stuff. And the Timberwolves finally have a head coach. Can you believe it? They finally have a head coach.
Not an assistant head coach. No.
What's that? Yeah.
It's not an assistant who's perpetrating as a head coach.
Yep, you had Randy Whitman, you had Dwayne Casey, and you had Kurt Rambis. You know, especially Kurt Rambis, like you said, right there. So that is just the biggest thing right there. We'll get right back to the coaching very shortly. But again, we apologize for being away for so long. The lockout, which is another topic today, didn't really help matters. It kind of created a malaise. I mean, I hope you're still out there listening. The lockout may hurt the ratings here. And then, of course, after the lockout, we'll generally talk about the Timberwolves. We're going to do what we do best: talk Timberwolves basketball. We got NBA TV off in the background. In studios, they often have stuff going on in the background. In this case, it's NBA TV, Bulls and Blazers, 92 finals. And how fitting to be talking about our new coach when there he is over there on the bench for the Trailblazers in the NBA finals. Yep, doing what he did best. Play competitive basketball against one of the great dynasties in NBA history. It's fun to see it. It really is. He's just a few years younger, though. That's the unfortunate part. Rick Adelman, he's about 5'40".
Yeah. Even though we have a Drexler on our team, I'm just really excited to see what he can do.
Yep, no Drexler, no Porter, but maybe we'll have something. A little bit different type of team, of course, and Kevin Love instead of Drexler as your franchise guy. Derek Williams is the one that's got me excited.
Yeah.
That's the one that's got me actually. He may be the franchise player. Yeah, I have a sneaky feeling about that. Because that's how we get into the draft. Second overall pick, Wolves take Derek Williams.
I think I need to see a shot. See his shooting over some actual defense. Because the games I've seen him in during the lockout, there's no defense whatsoever. They're not even trying to defend the players. So I just want to see what he can do with NBA defense.
That's the question coming in. Can he truly score in the NBA? Can he be anything like he was in college? Of course, he was the player of the year in college. Cleveland Cavaliers going with potential in a guy I liked an awful lot in Kyrie Irving. I mean, we both liked him a lot, a lot. Whereas Williams is the established best player in college basketball. For the first time ever, the Timberwolves got that guy with and in this case, number 2 overall pick, highest of all time. For me personally, Derek Williams. Now that we can finally, I'm enjoying that we can actually talk about him as a Timberwolf. But the guy is an all-around, just at least offensively, all-around superstar. I think he has superstar potential because of his all-around game. In my opinion, that inside he is an absolute force.
Yeah.
Absolute force inside. He's got a legitimate mid-range shot, and he's got a legitimate long-range shot. I mean, they were doing all these tests like shooting tests on Derek Williams, like before the draft. It was some interesting bit they did on ESPN. It was, it was related to the NBA draft, and there was a lot of science and all that interesting stuff. It's interesting, to say the least. And he was like phenomenal in that test. Phenomenal. You get a guy who's 6'8" and powerful to shoot as well as he can, and of course be powerful, not just be a classic finesse, wimpy power forward like we've seen so many of in this game. Right? Lin, he's got a lot of power, doesn't he?
No. That was all.
Yeah.
Smoke and mirrors.
That's pretty much the story with Lin. Yeah. I mean, and there's so many soft power forwards in the league. It's boring and tiring. Bargnani's good, but he's just a softie, I think.
Yeah.
There's a million guys like that in the league.
Well, the whole league is soft now. It's just it's become more of a floppers league, and tricking the refs into giving you a foul.
That's the sad part, and that's like the more we're watching, stuff from the early '90s.
Yeah,
you see just how different the NBA was back then. And this is early '90s. It's not like early '80s. The early '90s, yeah, it's a long time ago, but it's not as long ago as say when Larry Bird was like a rookie. I mean, this looks, to us, this is it almost feels recent to us. That's just how, long we've been watching basketball, I guess. But
it's just a whole style, even down to the crowd.
Yeah,
is a lot different.
Yep, they're not as worried about texting and as worried constantly about how they look.
Yeah,
and who they're sitting next to. People are just way too focused on image and being cool. Whereas back then, it's like, I'm a Trailblazers fan. I'm a Timberwolves fan. I'm a Bulls fan. I'm a Cavaliers fan. There's a lot more, it just was a little bit different back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, you go there to support your team, Mm-hmm. And, not worry about being seen.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people are about being seen these days. And we know there's a lot of us. Well, I'll say us. Those of you out there. I mean, a lot of you that are listening right now are part of what we are. True fans that still exist.
Yeah.
We're worried about the success of the team and the team playing with, with everything, playing with a lot of passion and flat out getting the job done without necessarily worrying only about how much the player makes all the time.
Yeah, to me it seems like the fans back then were more like soccer fans.
Yeah, way more. Those soccer fans are really into it, folks. Like back in those days in the 80s, and I know we're digressing, but that's just kind of what we do sometimes in Iran. I mean, we love basketball so much, we like to kind of wander a little bit, so bear with us. Maybe that's why you listen. Record numbers last show, but now what was I saying? Okay.
Soccer fans.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, everybody. And it's in the 80s, in the 80s when the Celtics won the championship, the fans were able to just literally go onto the court. I don't know if you remember seeing those old footage. Yeah. The Celtics fans would just burst onto the court. It was a different time back then. And the reason why they don't do it now, they're afraid of people getting killed or trampled, and I understand that. But
or Jermaine O'Neal rocket punching you in the face.
Rocket punching you in the face, doing that slide punch. And I don't think I've ever said this on Timberwolves Explosion, but me and Marcus have seen an awful lot of things over the years watching basketball, and the infamous Indiana Pacers melee into the Detroit Pistons crowd, we saw it live. We saw it live, folks. We were there, not in person, but we saw it on live television that night, and we were in stone silence thinking, this is some kind of... This is WF, it's scripted, it's just made up. We were almost kind of thinking that way. But obviously the NBA isn't necessarily that way, is it? It was historic, wasn't it? It was. It was a historic event. Uh-oh.
It's just funny, especially that Jermaine O'Neal punch.
Mm-hmm. That was the best part. The fat guy going on the court going, "What's up, Blue?" He just got...
just out of nowhere.
That was awesome. All
and
right.
Jermaine O'Neal, speaking of him, I thought he was done.
Yeah, Boston Celtics.
Yeah,
But
I thought he was done, and he did a little bit, so I kind of feel good about that.
yeah, he was on the Celtics last year, believe it or not, with Shaquille O'Neal, who will be. I don't know. We didn't talk about this on the last show. It's about 3 seconds. I know it's kind of general NBA. We're just still wandering. I'm sorry, guys. It's fun. Shaquille O'Neal is now a member of the best television cast in NBA history with TNT.
I can't wait.
Oh my God!
I can't wait, especially for the first Lakers game.
Oh yeah!
I just want to hear what he says about Kobe.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that.
You can't win without me. Okay, sorry. Sorry. That was. I can't wait for that. Isn't that going to be great?
And the Heat. I want to see what he has to say about the Heat.
That's going to be interesting too.
And I know for sure he's going to say something about. Well, everyone knows he might have a few swipes at Dwight, but I want to know what he has to say about Robin Lopez.
The Suns.
Yeah, because I know before he was saying that he was soft.
Oh, about Robin?
Yeah. And I think Robin set it up a little bit. So I'm interested in seeing what Shaq has to say about Lopez.
It's going to be fascinating. I mean, when you read Shaquille O'Neal's book, you see just what a personality this guy has. And it's the same, just awesome personality you see in front of the television. And, man, it's going to be fun. He is the most, I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it right here. Episode 70, September, 23rd? 24th, excuse me. Shaquille O'Neal is the most entertaining NBA player of all time, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's the funniest.
He is
definitely the funniest.
He's so entertaining.
But as far as entertainment, I'll have to go. It's a toss-up between him and Rodman.
Oh, yeah. Yep, we can't forget Rodman with the Bulls, obviously, especially with the Bulls. But
yeah, honestly, for me,
cool.
the Bulls are so good that I knew they're going to win, but I watched just to see what Rodman was going to do. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. You watched just to see what Rodman's going to do.
Yeah.
He was hilarious. I mean, the way he dived, he would dive horizontally after the ball.
Oh, yeah.
You never saw that.
He was a beast.
Yeah.
And with his mind games.
Yes.
Especially against Morning.
Yep. Greatest ever. It's okay, Zoe. Pat him on the butt. And then he just stand sideways. Everybody else is standing, looking towards the other side, I guess, of the lane.
Yeah, for a free throw.
Yeah, and then Rodman's just looking in Morning's direction instead. He's just with his hands folded like some.
Yeah, and I remember reading Morning lips saying, "You're a sick MF."
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. and yeah, you could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was something. See this? Yeah, that was one incident. Whereas another one, he pat Zoe on the butt, going, "It's okay, Zoe," and then Zoe kind of like motion, like, "Get out of here," and he went, "It's okay, Zoe," and then he went, "Yeah," probably F-bomb or something, like almost swung at him. I remember that. the Malone part was the best ever, though.
Oh yeah.
Boy, are we digressing? I'm sorry. The tripping. YouTube. Those of you out there may be too young to remember NBA Finals, Bulls and Jazz. I'm not sure if it was 97 or 98. I think 97. Rodman tripped Malone 3 times in a row, and no foul was called. It was just awesome. It's like, oh, they just tangled up. It's like, yeah, right. They didn't tangle up.
And hopefully, I want Kevin Love to be the next Rodman.
Wouldn't that be something?
I want that.
Mm-hmm. If only his defense could get good like Rodman's. Oh.
Well, if anyone's seen him, if anyone's listening has seen Love, he lost a lot of weight. Mm-hmm. A lot of weight. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of worried about him not being able to play center because of that and not boxing out. Because I know he was always like a wide dude. Mm-hmm. And
without much muscle tone, that's for sure.
Yeah, so that weight, weight helped him. Mm-hmm. Now he lost all that weight, and right now he should be building muscle to make up for that.
I hope so. That's the biggest thing, too, coming in from the lockout. I guess, yeah, because we're just bouncing around. It's okay. The biggest thing coming in from the lockout with most guys is you're going to get a wide range of different results from everybody in the league.
Yeah, conditioning and none at all.
Exactly. Some guys are going to come in like better than ever, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Some guys, like Sean Kemp, all at Sean Kemp, 1999, who showed up with this big smile on his face, like this is like this is funny, this is hilarious, this is cool. About 40 or 50 pounds heavier than normal at the time.
Yeah.
of the Cleveland Cavaliers at the time. Oh, and they were only paying him like $15 million a year. That's okay. It's not that bad. He had this big smile. So he's like, "Hi, hello, how are you?" You know, like in the newspaper, just.
A nice gut.
I mean, he was enormous. I mean, Cleveland fans probably wanted to. I feel so bad for Cleveland fans, by the way. I mean, think about what they've been through. Except for the stupid number 1 pick. Thanks very much. Since we're still on the draft conversation. We'll get back to it. I'm sorry, guys. This is classic Timberwolves explosion. But, yeah. Stupid Sean Kemp. And, yeah, that's the thing coming in from the lockout. And we'll get back to that in a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Williams and Beasley. Well, Williams, Beasley. I know Wesley Johnson is training.
Yes.
I'm glad Beasley's doing some work. It looks like his shot is better than ever.
Beasley?
Yeah, his shot's still good. It looks like his handling is a little bit better in the games I've seen. But again, these are games where there's no defense.
Yeah, you know? And that's kind of been Beasley. That's just kind of who he is, I think, at this point. I mean, maybe it'll change, but yeah. I'm very skeptical on Beasley ever really becoming better than a glorified sixth man. I hate to say it,
Actually, I think he'll be. So I think the games I saw Williams in. Okay, if you're playing a game with no defense, then you should dominate.
Oh yeah,
you should make most of your shots,
especially him. Yep.
But the games I've seen Williams play, it's been either alley oops or putbacks.
And that's unfortunate. Yeah. That's just hustle points. You know, we love hustle points, but it doesn't make you a franchise player.
Yeah, he gets scores off of pick and rolls and the alley oops. But as Beasley, he's scoring by himself. He's creating his own shot. That's
the one thing he's got for him. He's a natural scorer.
Yeah. So if Williams is say the starter, he's not going to create his own shot. He's going to get his shots off of Rubio alley oops or putbacks.
And so we hope. Yeah. I mean, at least in terms of Rubio doing that, getting him there, getting the alley-oops and setting him up.
Yeah, so going to be interesting. We're definitely going to need scoring coming from other spots if Williams is the starter.
I mean, that's the other thing too. We got three forwards, at least 3 guys that are going to play the 3 or 4 position. All 3 you'd want to say should be starting. You got the number 2 overall pick. Of course, Derek Williams. You got Kevin Love, who's the best player on the team. And you got Michael Beasley, who, regardless if you think of him, he is a 20-point plus guy. 20 to 25 a game.
Yeah.
And by the way, he didn't break his wrist either.
Yeah.
That was that rumor about he broke his wrist in China. Apparently not true, so that's good. But anything else you want to add to that? Or?
No.
Okay, yes, now we can. So we're going to kind of sort of stay on the draft thing here. We pretty much talked enough about Williams, right? Yeah. Pretty much set with Williams. So, the Wolves had what was it? See, now it gets funny. This is where it gets just a little weird. The Wolves had a 20th pick in the first round. But then the Houston Rockets and the Wolves put together a deal. Johnny Flynn, the worst player on the Timberwolves. Basically. The worst player of the guys that actually did play.
Hit the road, Jack.
And hit the road to Houston, Texas. Johnny Flynn is going to Houston with that 20th pick for Brad Miller, and was it the 23rd or 24th? Now I can't remember the exact number. And cash. Now here's where we kind of slowly start to lead into the coaching change, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We got a couple more we got a couple more dots to connect. Yes. Because notice there's a theme to the word cash in these trades, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah. As we got the bag here opened up. It's opened up, and we're not going to close the bag. We're going to leave it open. Because the Timberwolves trade down again to the 28th pick. For, the 28th pick and cash. That's right. The Wolves traded down for the 28th pick and cash. So that's the third time. And then, here we go. Here it comes. Here comes the pick. Here we go. Who are we going to get in the first round? I forget who was available. That's who we wanted, Marshawn Brooks.
Yeah.
Well, we passed on him at 20. We passed on him at 24.
What the
flying... Flip Saunders. Okay, you know what I was going to say. You can get the idea. Everybody knows
I
it.
figure he's still there. Brooks is still there.
Marshawn Brooks.
Get him.
We were in love with him. Wonderful rainbow shot. Boston Celtics take him with the 25th, 26th, I think, and then moved him to New Jersey. Good for them. We're happy for him. But then there were other guys there that we liked. Then we trade to Miami. Yes, we made a trade to Miami for the top pick in the second round, meaning we were going to get our pick back from the Miami Heat, which we used to get to Michael Beasley.
Yeah.
And cash. That's right, cash. Did you notice I said cash again? Yeah, I did. But then we traded that pick right back to Miami again, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we took that point guard. I forget his name exactly. We traded it right back to Miami, which is really funny. And more cash. That's right. And we ended up finally taking Malcolm Lee, I believe was it 37th overall? I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, it was 37th. Malcolm Lee, shooting guard out of UCLA. Some people like him. We'll see. I mean, I believe he's a defensive specialist and a slasher. Shooting, but there's your shooting guard, I guess. Maybe not your starting shooting guard, but something to at least take a flyer on from the UCLA Bruins. But did you notice how many times I said cash?
Yeah.
I said cash a lot, didn't I?
You did.
And so did the Wolves, didn't they?
They did.
To the tune, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for the amount of money the Wolves piled up in this bag that I'm holding?
I don't think they're ready.
Yeah?
I don't think they're ready.
They're ready for what? They're ready to know? No, I don't think they're ready either, are they? Well, yes, the Timberwolves did lose $20 million or more the last at least 3 years. Some people say the last 5 years. Sid Hartman said up to the last 5 years. That's a lot of money gone. That's $100 million right there. Literally, lost. Just failed, right? So a minimum of 60 to 100 plus the Wolves have lost the last 3 to 5 years. So there's $4 million because, well, okay, I've already spoiled it. God almighty. Okay. David Kahn signed Kurt Rambis. There we go. So I guess I didn't spoil it too much. You kind of knew who I was leading towards anyway. To a 4-year deal, $4 million per. An unproven head coach.
Yeah.
That's Shaquille O'Neal in his book. Remember when Kurt Rambis took over for the fired Dale Harris for the LA Lakers in '99, the lockout season, the 50-game lockout season. They fired Dale Harris. They promote Kurt Rambis to interim head coach. Shaquille O'Neal in his book straight up called Kurt Rambis a phony. A phony. Yeah. He called him phony ass Kurt Rambis. He loved him as an assistant, but then he's like how Kurt Rambis changed and became a hard ass. Gee, that sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? He didn't change every 11 years, did he?
No, he didn't.
A fantastic assistant coach.
According to Kevin Love.
According to Kevin Love, yeah. Well, and you could just tell, too. Like, in his interviews on the phone on the Paul Allen Show and KFAN he was on, very cantankerous at times, not all the time. When the Wolves acquired Darko Milicic for Brian Cardinal, I don't know if you remember how cantankerous he was during that interview. Just because, for whatever reason, obviously the Wolves lost the game to Washington. I have an amazing memory, folks. I did not look that up. I flat out remember we played Washington that night. And they said, so when was this trade? I can't think of the word, but when was this trade, concluded, whatever, when did they get it done? He's like, wow, we were here! Just flipping out, really cantankerous. And I truly believe he was like that with the players pretty much every day. I know losing does that to you. It makes you grumpy and frustrated and impatient. But to basically say this assistant coach might as well be an assistant, but this head coach is a patient man is a lie, I think. Does Kurt Rambis seem like a patient person?
No, he didn't. I never got that vibe from him.
No. Just stubborn. Not patient, but stubborn. Like, this is what we're going to do. End of story. Period. Like, I know what I'm doing. I played for the 80s Lakers. But
yeah, and you can't be like that with a team, especially with Beasley on the team. A team of young players,
Phil Jackson wasn't like that. I mean, he really wasn't. I mean, yeah, Phil Jackson won a championship as a New York Knick, which is amazing. Yeah. How many rings that son of a gun has. Phil Jackson. He's got 12 at least. He won one with the Knicks way, way, way back. And then 11 with the Bulls and Lakers. Luckily, go ahead.
That type of attitude would be better off if he, as a veteran player on the team, if he had that type of attitude.
Yeah, maybe bring him somebody who's a veteran. Maybe you wound up with Tony Kukoc or something years later. Maybe he's not a jerk about it either. He probably wouldn't be, but Kurt Rambis was.
Well, actually, even that. Actually, it's just better to have a more of a stern hand coming from a veteran player who I think the younger players would respect more instead of that coming from a coach.
Have that come from really. Because if it comes from the coach, it just kind of it sends a message you probably don't want, especially with young players. With a current player, okay, that's probably a little better scenario. Yeah, you got to think it is. Kurt Rambis would have made is a nice assistant coach anywhere because it's kind of more like he's a former player rather than a head coach when he's an assistant. You kind of get that former player vibe, like from Bill Laimbeer, Reggie Theus, guys like that were assistants with this coaching staff. But really, Kurt Rambis, there you go, $4 million a year given to Kurt Rambis. You think about that, you wonder what was Khan on.
That was a complete waste of money. Actually, even I was fooled because I thought
lot of money.
He'd bring a little dash of Phil's magic over here. But
a little bit of Pat Riley from the Lakers too. Yep, the other Lakers.
None of it.
None
of it.
But it didn't resemble a triangle, and even if it did, this isn't a team built for that type of offense.
Yeah.
You need veterans. One, you need veterans. Two, you need spot-up shooters like John Paxson, Derek Fisher, Robert Horry, Devin George. Yeah, I'm going to name all the Craig Hodges. There are a million spot-up, like clutch three-point shooting type guys. Rick Fox. How could I forget that son of a gun? It's so many threes.
The only thing that we had resembling the Lakers team or a bit of the Bulls is love and the rebounding.
Rodman.
And
that's about it. Certainly not defense either.
Yeah.
No, certainly no defense either.
Defense. Forget about it.
Pat Riley's teams were really defensive-minded. Phil Jackson's teams were above average defensively, especially the Bulls were phenomenal. Oh, there's that guy. There's a 46-year-old guy in 92 who's going to be coaching this team in the background with his mustache. He's got more of a Santa Claus beard the last several years, but I'm digressing again. But no, you didn't have shooting specialists, and the other major missing part on this team for the triangle, you need an excellent small forward or shooting guard to lead the offense, not a point guard. Flat out, no point guard were on the Bulls and Lakers. Paxson and Armstrong were point guards, but they didn't really play like the stereotypical NBA point guard. They were more of a, kind of a quick passing and shooting type of player rather than a bring the ball up the court type point guard. It's I don't know what I don't know what David Kahn is doing. It's like he managed the team to play a certain way and brought in a coach to play the opposite way.
Yeah. It made no sense.
And what happens when the wind goes north one time and south the other way at the same time? What forms? A very serious storm we call a tornado. It's not good. It just didn't work at all, did it? It just did not work. Of course, Kurt Rambis also went as far as the reports go as far as to say that Kurt Rambis flat out didn't even respect David Kahn's basketball acumen. This guy is just a moron anyway.
Yeah.
So you have that situation going on. It's like, ooh, you can't win.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. Who heard of an employee coming in and telling the boss he doesn't respect him?
Mm-hmm. Basically, he may or may not have actually told it to him, but the message was sent more than probably several times. Yeah. Like, okay, whatever. He probably just blew him off. Like, this guy's a moron. Probably. I'm sure Kurt Rambis seems like the type that would just walk right past the guy. Say somebody's talking to him, trying to give him instructions. I bet Kurt Rambis seems like the type of person he'd just walk right past him. Doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does. I'm sure the new guy would do the same, but at least the new guy has enough basketball acumen that he could manage this organization, and everybody in the organization knows that. really quick before I mention his name. The $4 million, of course, acquired in the draft, helps pay at least one of the 2 years remaining on Kurt Rambis. Kurt Rambis' 2-year contract, so but still $4 million a year. That is an immense salary for a head coach. Very, very high. I guess he needed that much money to get him out of L.A. Ooh. The funny part is, with that team, I bet Kurt Rambis would be a better replacement than Mike Brown. I don't know about the Lakers hiring Mike Brown. I don't know about that. I don't think Kobe. I don't think anybody's excited about that. Do you like that move at all?
No, I think that was a slap in the face to Kobe.
It's gotta be
for them not to talk to him about it.
Mm-hmm. They didn't even ask him. They bring in a guy who failed with LeBron. You could say whatever you want about how bad LeBron was in the postseason and all that stuff, and of course he's been bad in the postseason. But it's Mike Brown wasn't exactly a success either. He really wasn't, and he didn't really make the Cavaliers better. They already had a lot of talent, in my opinion. He might be better than some people believe, but still, I don't think the Lakers win another championship with the current. I don't think so.
Their chances are. I think that season was their last chance of winning another championship.
Probably. I mean, they're thinking, okay, there it is, number 12 for Phil Jackson, and then off in the sun. What do they call that? Sunset in Montana for old Phil. Kobe Bryant made a very interesting statement. I forget the All-Star game was in L.A. this last year, wasn't it? And he basically said, "Yeah, this will be my last All-Star game in L.A." So it's like that's a clear indicator. Obviously, I don't think they're going to have the All-Star game in L.A. anytime soon, just because you don't just go back to the same city over and over again. You got to be fair, but at the same time, the way he said it, it almost kind of had a little hint of, "I'm not going to be around that much longer."
Yeah,
it was a little bit cryptic, like. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to play. It was kind of like that. Not necessarily I'm done, but I will be done soon.
Yeah, LA is going to have to make some big decisions about what they're going to do with Bynum.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There's the topic we got to do in 69, episode 69. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, Odom.
Bynum, yeah.
And Fisher.
Yeah, the Lakers are going to be making huge changes, and as we... Go ahead.
I want Fisher to be on the Wolves.
That'll be interesting. That will be very interesting. Let's probably get back to that in a little bit. The team stuff, yeah. So we don't digress too much, but we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that because, heck, when we get into the lockout and general team stuff, we're going to talk about, there's going to be a major free agent window coming, and it's going to be fun to watch. It is going to be fun to watch. But with that, though, anything else you want to say about Kurt Rambis?
I'm just glad that he's gone.
Yeah, I'm glad he's gone too.
I hope he succeeds in whatever he's doing.
Whatever path he takes in the future, will it be he go back to L.A.? Who knows? I bet you Mike Brown would be a little paranoid about that. But then again, maybe he shouldn't be too paranoid because Kurt Rambis failed to win 20 games in the 2 years time. 2 years he was in Minnesota. So good luck to Kurt Rambis, and again, glad he's gone. I think the upgrade was immense. I really do. So here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, your new head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves was the number one guy on our list, and probably should have been the number one guy on the Lakers list, considering the veterans they had on that team. Why not bring in an aging coach who still hasn't won a title with an aging team that would like to win another title, or 2 or 3? Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce the new head coach of the Timberwolves, Rick Adelman. That's right. Rick Adelman. I thought it was dead and gone, when he's like, I don't even want to coach this year anyway. And I thought that was it. A lot of us thought it could be, there he is back there again, but it could be Don Nelson. I mean, Don Nelson interested you, didn't he? A little bit?
Yeah. Don Nelson, I think he would have, if he was younger, it would have worked.
Yeah.
But not right now.
It's the famous quote that I wanted to say about the Lakers and about Don Nelson. A famous quote that you said last year about the Wolves getting Ty Lawson. When you said, I think that ship has sailed. And, I think the Lakers' ship has sailed. And unfortunately, Don Nelson, I think his ship has sailed too. Honestly, it's like it was kind of fun and intriguing.
Yeah.
But he said, for one, he's 71. Second, Golden State was a disaster when he went back there again. Remember?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not a complete disaster. I shouldn't say that. His very first year there, it was phenomenal. He took out Dallas in the first round. Great upset. But then after that, it was like a disaster. Just it was a joke.
Yeah, plus I don't think he would be able to handle the stress of losing, because I doubt we would win right off the bat.
It's going to take a little time, even with the immense talent on the roster.
Yeah, him traveling,
he's an old guy.
Game to game, yeah. So I think the whole season. Plus, I don't think we would have wanted to sign him for a 1-year contract, and he wouldn't. He wouldn't want that.
Yeah, he'd want more.
Yeah, so I'm sure the traveling and everything would have gotten to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would have been interesting. It would have. Mike Woodson, a guy we knew they weren't going to hire, and then he wound up going to be an assistant with the Knicks. He's a defensive specialist, and the Hawks' defense wasn't that good when he was there, so I don't know how to go with that one. Then you also had Sam Mitchell, which was I think a very exciting thought. That would have been my number 2 choice behind Rick Adelman, honestly. Coach of the year with the Toronto Raptors. He can get a little bit temper laden at times, but he's only 48. That's young for a coach. That would have been kind of cool to see him here. Would you have liked that, Sam Mitchell?
Wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, former player. I don't know. Do you remember him as a player here?
I do.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He was just every time Sam Mitchell was on the court, the Minnesota Timberwolves the Timberwolves IQ went up about 20 points per player. I mean, every time he was on the court, the team played so much smarter. It was a really cool thing to watch. So again, that's the guy who would have been a pretty cool addition, I think, to this Timberwolves coaching lore. The other guys were Larry Brown. Larry Brown was one. Immediately, I dismissed that. Like, why are you even wasting your own time? Why would you even consider that? The guy is nuts. Larry Brown is a psychological disaster. And you're going to bring that guy into this organization? Are you kidding me?
I don't really take that one seriously.
No.
When I heard that, I was like, we can't be talking to Mike Brown. Really?
There's just no way. Larry Brown. Did I say Mike Brown? Did I say
No. Actually,
okay, Larry Brown.
I'm thinking of 2 different guys at once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I know why. There's a coach. Yeah. It's because Mike Brown. We were talking about him for a while.
Yeah.
Larry Brown. I might have said Larry. I don't know. Or Mike. I have no idea. Who
I know
knows?
who you're talking about, though. I know who you're talking about.
Who knows? Who knows, right? Larry Brown bombed with the Knicks. Absolutely bombed. And then bombed with the Bobcats.
Yeah.
Well, we got into the playoffs one year, but they got doused, in the first round.
Maybe you could have talked to Iverson into coming here.
Hey, there you go.
There's our shooting guard.
Iverson. That guy is like one charging call away from being like basically in a wheelchair. I think Iverson. I kind of have a feeling he's at that point physically.
Oh yeah, he's got to be.
Yeah, he's close. He never put muscle on that body ever in his whole career. Barkley warned him about it many years ago. He never did anything about it.
Yeah, his style of play, he just, took charges.
Attacked. Yeah. He didn't care how much he got hit, even though he weighed like 170 pounds.
Yeah. Broken bones.
Yeah, that guy was
He was a warrior.
Mm-hmm, he was. I mean, regardless of, maybe his selfish style of play and kind of his attitude at times, hey, he did play hard. There's no doubt. He did. You got your money's worth with the guy, at least in terms of effort.
Yeah, like me. I'm not a huge Kobe fan, but I can't deny his talent.
Yeah, the guy is he's the biggest winner in the league right now. I know since about 2000ish, he's the biggest winner in the game. No doubt about it. And boy, we like to digress, but that's okay. It's basketball. We love it, and we know you guys love it too. At least you better.
Yeah, we're not talking about cooking recipes or anything like that,
Well, speaking of which, the butter. You mix the butter in with the sweet butter and add some salt. Okay, sorry. Sorry about that.
Milk.
In the milk. Christopher Walken.
Turn the butter to milk.
Turn the cream into butter. And you turn the butter back into cream. Mouse will drown. Okay, sorry. That's a bit from Catch Me If You Can. Okay, I'm sorry. You guys probably think I'm crazy. Sorry, we had to do that.
We'll do a whole show in his voice.
Yeah.
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love is great. Sorry, guys, we can't help it. We can't help it. When we get going, we get going. You should hear us off the mic sometime. Yeah, we're gonna have some nice outtakes for you someday. We do have outtakes recorded, so that's a little indicator for the future. Possibly I'll post it on YouTube or something. Rick Adelman, what's going to happen with the rotation? See, now you got Al Pacino asking questions about the Wolves. Okay, now we're going to really...
What are we going to do with Michael Beasley and Derek Williams?
You got a problem with the way these players play. They play the same position. They do the same thing over and over again. Okay.
There's not enough time.
There really isn't. There's not enough minutes. Okay, we're gonna get arrested. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't have said that. Oh man, that was awesome. I hope you guys like that. I really do. That's fun. You can't breathe right now. I was laughing. Okay, but so with Rick Adelman in with the Wolves. Okay, we're finally getting to it. I hope you guys, forgive us. Rick Adelman is the Wolves coach, and we're thrilled about it. We're honestly thrilled about it. He's the guy we always wanted. Ever since they talk about, ever since his name got brought up in passing, it's like then all of a sudden like the light bulb went off. It's like, yeah, Rick Adelman. Why didn't we think about him sooner?
Yeah.
I mean, wow, where did that come from? We were all pissed off that Dwayne Casey's gone. Great, that sucks.
Yeah, I thought Nelson was at the as good as it was gonna get. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, because then it's like Rick Adelman sounds great, but it's a pipe dream.
Yeah, there's no way that has to be fake humor.
Yep, there's no way. It's one of those deals. You thought there isn't anything going to happen, and but then it just, people on Twitter were telling me, "Hey, don't sleep on Edelman yet. Don't sleep on Edelman yet. I mean, this is something that could still happen." And it's like, really? Really? Well, it's like, okay, but I highly doubt it. I think it's between Mitchell and Nelson. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, Rick Adelman's finally coming for an interview. And it's like, wait, he is? But then they're like, oh, no, it was just over the phone. It's like, oh.
Yeah, just like the KG commercial. We've been fooled way too many times to get our hopes up for getting Adelman. So we're kind of like, no, I'm not even going to think about it because if we don't get him, I'm going to be mad,
Yeah, we don't want to get disappointed. We've been disappointed too much.
Yeah, then we're stuck with Larry.
Oh, don't say that word. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, Larry Brown. I mean, if that succeeded, then no, it wouldn't. There's no way that would have succeeded, is there?
But it's like being a fan of the Wolves. It's like, okay, since Larry name was even put in, we're getting Larry. We just know it. We're getting Larry.
It's like there's no reason why we should have put him in, but then they did.
So, we're the Wolves. We're going to get Larry.
Yeah, like we're going to trade O.J. Mayo for a slow, kind of pudgy white guy named Kevin Love. But then that actually worked out. Oh, that's one of those rare ones where it actually worked out. That was amazing what happened in that trade. But sometimes you get lucky. With Larry Brown, the Wolves, no way the Wolves would have got lucky. And by the way, the other Wolves coaching candidate was Terry Porter. That kind of went away right away, and he didn't really have much success. He failed as the Suns coach, was fired after 1 year. Or was it 1.5? I mean, it was very quick. He didn't last long in Phoenix. He was a good coach of the Bucks, but not the Suns. Definitely not. That was that bad deal. So with Rick Adelman in the helm, instant credibility brought to the organization.
Yes.
Instant. And I can't believe we're actually able to say that. Can you?
Yeah, and even what makes it even better is he's making decisions.
Yeah. He's
going to bigger decisions as far as our assistant coaches.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be a bigger. We've never had a coach like Rick Adelman in this organization.
Yeah,
never.
And I think Adelman had to have told Taylor, like, look, if I come here, I'm not dealing with The sports writer.
The Kahn Meister. Yeah, the sports writer that Rick Adelman
Yeah.
and David Kahn, well, they were associated in Portland, Oregon. And there's all kinds of rumors on Yahoo. Was it Wojnarowski? One of the better writers, Wojnarowski. The guy around here you usually hear about is John Krasinski. He's pretty darn good. Minnesota sports writer for Yahoo Sports, which I swear by. I swear by Yahoo Sports as well as Real GM. But Wojnarowski, okay, I hope I'm saying his name right, Wojnarowski, was basically saying Adelman basically hates David Kahn, just can't stand him, and for one, it's like there's no way he'd ever come to Minnesota, and if he did, it's like there's no way either that it's not going to work, or basically that Kahn's as good as fired right away.
Yeah.
So, but then you get other stories in the Star Tribune and such, pretty much diffusing it, saying, well, look at all the columns basically the reason why they said Adelman hates Kahn is that Kahn would write these very critical columns about Rick Adelman. But then Star Tribune, I mean, regardless of how you feel about Star Tribune, or I'm going to take them by their word at this point in time, because I don't really have access to 1989 newspapers, so I can't really get to it right now. But in the newspaper, Star Tribune, Jerry Zgoda, who's fantastic in my opinion, and other writers along with the Star Tribune that helped him out with it, came up with columns from 1989 when David Kahn would mention Rick Adelman. Well, his first ever quote about him in the newspaper, not quote, but blip about Rick Adelman in the newspaper was the Blazers should come to their senses and hire Rick Adelman, or should do something smart for once. It was something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing it. They should hire Rick Adelman. That was when Rick was like a interim filling in, take for a fired coach at the time in the late 80s, of course, 89, saying they need to hire Rick Adelman. So I don't know if that's very critical of Rick Adelman. Yeah. Basically, David Kahn cut open a new one for the Portland Trailblazers management, though. That's basically where he was critical. He just sliced the Portland Trailblazers management up, basically saying they hired people for positions that they're really intelligent people, like they're really smart with computers in one area, and the other guy is really smart with business or something like that, and they hired him for basketball positions. And he's like, why? Basically, he said, to begin to paraphrase, what in the holy hell are they thinking, putting in a computer expert or something to manage a basketball team? You know, it's like, what are you doing? That's like that's like having a water biologist or something go in to Xcel Energy Center to manage the company, and it's like, really?
Or a sports writer.
Or a sports writer to manage the Minnesota Timberwolves, which I could tell you were getting ready for that lead-in. Yep. That was the point I was leading towards. So David Kahn, a little bit. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I mean, yeah, David Kahn is a great writer. Yes, he is. He's a great writer. You read the articles. He's extremely intelligent speaker and writer. But did they hire the right guy to manage the team? I don't know about that. I mean, I should go write on Timberwolves Press, and I could be the 2011 David Kahn writing about the Timberwolves management, and that they shouldn't do their senses and hire Rick Adelman.
Yeah.
So 20 years later, I'm David Kahn.
You know?
So that means in about 20 years, I will be running the Timberwolves.
There it is.
And I will be talking like this, saying that now Johnny and Ricky, and little Kevin. Okay.
And Mana.
Now, I mean, one thing, I think a sports writer is more qualified to run a team than, say, a computer expert or something, which is, that was really bad. But still, David Kahn is kind of hypocritical there. It's not like he grew up, it's not like Chuck Fletcher of the Minnesota Wild. Again, that's debatable how good he is. But his father was the general manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Or actually, I don't know if it was the Penguins, but I forget who it was. In fact, I believe, yes, he is the manager that was and still is the manager of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Cliff Fletcher. So Chuck Fletcher was the assistant general manager of the Penguins. He ends up coming to Minnesota. So basically, it's in his blood to be a general manager of a franchise. David Kahn, it's not so much. So it's funny, the kind of the hypocrisy there a little bit is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit funny, isn't it? And now we've kind of danced around the subject probably a little too much, and it's my fault, probably like 110% of it.
It's good information, though. It's good information.
It is. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And yes, it's something for people to debate about, enjoy, and laugh about as well.
And if another thing, if Khan's stay here is depending on Rubio,
Yes.
I think he's on his way out. And seeing as how Adelman,
maybe.
his contract is for a while, and Khan's
Yeah.
is only for 1 year, so this is a make or break.
David Kahn was signed to a 3-year contract, and this is year number 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Rick Adelman officially has more power with the Timberwolves organization than David Kahn, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does. And I mean, and yes, that's been discussed on other shows and in the newspaper. But, I mean, we come up to the same conclusion when you look at the big picture. It's not because we're riding the coattails of the newspapers or of radio shows. It's just we look at it ourselves and see it the same way. I mean, we could disagree with the newspaper. Obviously different newspapers come up with different stories, like Wojnarowski and Jerry Zagoda and others. Officially, the most powerful member of the Timberwolves organization is Rick Adelman, outside of the owner himself. I think, yeah. It's just Rick Adelman's team now, isn't it?
It is.
And that's a good thing.
I think Adelman wanted that to be made clear when he first got here.
That could be what the delay was, because it took a long damn time for him to get hired.
Yeah.
Because it took at least...
Taylor was one who had to talk to him.
Yeah.
Come here. I don't think he would, even wanted to discuss it with Khan.
That's a lot of the like when you read between the lines, it appears that way. Right. Other people are saying that Khan and him are fine and that there's nothing wrong. I'm sure we're going to hear that on Wednesday, the 28th, when the press conference happens at 1 p.m. Hopefully you guys are listening to this before you see the press conference. That's when the press conference will be, for those of you that might not know that yet. I'm sure it'll be on Timberwolves.com and FSN.com, 1 p.m. Central Time. Rick Adelman introduces Timberwolves head coach in Target Center. Due to traveling issues, he wasn't around. He's on vacation or something, or was. So, one of those deals. But yeah, the talk was that Kahn and Adelman interviewed over the phone, but not in person. And then it's like, finally, here comes Adelman because Glenn Taylor's involved. So something's up. Something was up with all that. It was pretty complicated.
Yeah.
It was very complicated. The other thing you mentioned, too, which was great, like on episode 69, was when you said, this team, obviously they're losing a fortune, but you can't just focus on we need to save money because we're losing money. Sometimes you have to spend a little bit more to improve the product, to improve everything.
Yeah.
And that was a very accurate thing. We were actually talking about that head coaching situation at the time, and Glenn Taylor gets a little hand, at least from me, for doing that.
We can't be seen as a joke for too much longer, especially with this core of young talent we have. Because if we're a laughing stock while they're here, and so soon in their career, we're just gonna stunt the growth, and they're not gonna just being on a Lakers team. Like the Lakers never won a championship for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
if you're going to a Lakers team, there's like a feeling that you're going to win anyway, just because you're in the Lakers uniform and you're in LA, or the same thing with the Bulls.
Yeah, in the good times, yep.
Yeah, you just get that. Here, there's nothing. There's never been like a great coach. I wouldn't say great. Well, he wasn't great yet.
You can debate on Flip.
Yeah,
thinking about Flip.
Yeah.
He's a debatable figure. Very good regular season. Very unimpressive in the postseason.
Yeah,
and there's been a lot of coaches in sports that have been that way. Including the Twins manager.
We just haven't been like a great franchise. We just never had the pieces that we needed. Like we got to the championship, how far we got, that was like mostly off of just like sheer like will, mostly from KG, of getting as far as we got.
The year we got to the West Finals?
Yeah. So it's not like we had like a stacked team. It was mostly, we wanted it bad.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, he had a career year. Garnett in 2003, the 02-03 season, Garnett finished second place for MVP. I mean, he was right there.
Yeah.
But then 03-04, he was clearly the MVP in the game that year. It did help, though. Sam Cassell is the most clutch player to ever don a Wolves jersey.
Yeah.
And that did help. Sprewell was kind of the opposite. Sprewell's a topic we could really talk about forever. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy. You talk about another psychological disaster. His name is Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah, but I think if we keep these guys for a couple years,
there's pieces.
I think they're going to want to stay here, especially with a legit coach.
Mm-hmm.
Owner who's finally showing, okay, well, I guess I can dish out a couple bucks.
Yeah, even though we're losing, a lot of money.
Yeah, to make the team better. In the long run, we're going to be a championship team, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the pieces are absolutely on this team to be better. At least the word better. How much better, we'll see, but they could be significantly better very soon, actually. I'll get to on who that really hinges on more than anybody. You could probably guess who it is. And I'm already losing track where I was. Shoot. It's more or less, I'll just get to that right now then, because I'm starting to lose track of where I was going. Ricky Rubio is absolutely the X factor for the future of the current team. At least the current team.
Yeah, right now I think he'll be a no factor.
And that's the scary part. As coming out of the lockout, we're going to kind of merge the lockout and the general Timberwolves thing. We're kind of already, and we're going to still talk about Rick Adelman too. We could kind of merge all three of these together, really, because they're all related.
Yeah, especially Rubio and Adelman.
Rubio and Adelman, absolutely. But first, we're going to take a quick break. We'll give the listeners a little break here. We'll be right back right after this. And we are back here on Timberwolves Explosion, episode number 70, which is always is a reminder for iPod users and other MP3 players, because you can have any MP3 player in the world and listen to Timberwolves Explosion, as long as you can have any type of USB drive type MP3 player. You can slide the file. You could just download it off the website and slide it right into the the folder for the MP3 player. It's more simple than people like to make it sometimes. And I did regain what I lost. I regained it during the break. That I was going to say that Glenn Taylor's not really known to was never really a full-blown tightwad. Really, I mean, he paid a lot of money to Garnett and other guys like Wally Szczerbiak and Terrell Brandon and guys like that. He spent money, but of course in the wrong places.
Yeah.
And understandable about the financial situation of the team, losing $20 million. You don't want to look at it as, well, we better stop spending when we're losing $20 million, because you're going to constantly lose $20 million if you're not putting people in the seats. So you need to make an investment into something, a wise investment into a coach like Rick Adelman, and of course maybe being as aggressive as this franchise was after Ricky Rubio. So again, the success of the current team and possibly long-term depends on two guys with the name Rick. Rick Adelman and Ricky Rubio, like you were kind of leading into right before the break so well, because you segue things so well. Yeah. Look at you. Rick Adelman, Ricky Rubio, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
And I'm kind of worried about, because I know Adelman prefers a point guard who can shoot the three.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
As far as what we've seen with him using Rubio and White Chocolate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got guys like, White Chocolate could hit the three-pointer. Mike Bibby could hit the three-pointer. That's, of course, the Sacramento Kings era. Those guys were three-point specialists. Terry Porter was a pretty good three-point shooter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a ridiculous three-point shooter. He was in a three-point contest every year back then. Oh, my good old Terry Porter. There he is as a Blazer, back in the background. But Ricky Rubio shooting threes. I don't know about that, huh?
You know who fits that
Maybe.
bill? You know who fits that bill?
Who's that?
Luke.
Yeah, that's the funny part, isn't it? Luke Ridnour can shoot threes. Just Mr. Adelman, you're a great coach, and we know you are. Or at least, he's a great coach. I just hope he is here, but I'm sure he will be. Just as long as Rubio Ridnour is shooting threes and not hanging on to the basketball.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen with Adelman, though.
He'll probably kill him, won't he?
Yeah.
Adelman would kill Rubio, I think, Ridnour, if he's going to constantly be trying to be Michael Jordan, trying to penetrate to the basket.
At the end of games.
Or those pull-up jumpers. That's not Luke Ridnour's game. Luke Ridnour, at the age of 29, should have an idea what his role on a team should be. I mean, you're not the number one option, especially late in the game, Mr. Ridnour. I don't know what he was doing several times. Again, that's one of the main reasons I wanted Rambis gone, because he could not seem to get his players to change their behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can't get your players to change, like, to change blatant poor decision-making skills. You can't seem to get that to change even a little bit. You're not a good coach. You're just not. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I've seen Wayne Ellington go in for a layup and get blocked one too many times.
One too many, yep.
And at some point, you would think the coach would say, all right, don't do that.
Don't do that. Please stop doing it. Please.
Yeah, it seemed like Kurt was just a horrible substitute teacher, and no one respected him.
That's what it seems like, doesn't it? It's like you look at it that way. You know how, like the whole thing with Rambis didn't respect Khan. Well, maybe the players didn't respect Rambis. Maybe it comes full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And probably Khan and Rambis and the players don't respect Taylor. You put it all together, it's a big tornado of okay, I almost said the word. I almost said the S word, 4-letter S word. But it kind of is. Okay, and I'm really sorry those of you out there that are long devoted Timberwolves fans. I love this team. I love this team even more than you do. Yeah, and I'm saying that with full confidence. I love this team so much. You wouldn't even believe how much I'm into this team, and how closely I follow this team, and how my eyes light up anytime that I almost said something really bad. Holy cow. Those fudge knuckers on KFAN never talk about the Timberwolves. Ever, 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 ever. But when they actually talk about them, my eyes light up and I jump to the TV screen. But gosh dang it, with all that said, I can criticize this team all I want. Dang it. And it's not because I can do whatever I want, but because I'm extremely frustrated with the way things tend to go. And yes, I apologize for some of the words. I mean, I just kind of made up a word as I go because of the frustration that, fudge knuckers. It's just kind of a made up word. Like Angry Video Game Nerd makes up words, let's just say, on his show, and I make up mine. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't say that. So those of you out there that might be a little bit wondering what the heck that's all about, sorry. But no, the frustration level with the management of the team, very evident, despite how much I love them. But that's probably because I love them, because I want to get better. Right. And I'm talking way too much again, even though this is about talking.
It's good information.
It's good information. Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate it. So where do we go from here? The lockout, well...
Apparently nowhere up, since we're already at the bottom.
When it comes to the lockout, or the Wolves, you mean?
The Wolves.
Yeah, the Wolves. I mean, we gotta... I think there is up. Obviously there is. You got the...
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
How many games did we win last year? 17?
We would take it if we didn't go up.
Yeah. How the hell could we not win 18? No, okay. If the Wolves don't win 25 in the, or the equivalent to 25, being we don't know how long the season's going to be, the percentage, whatever. If the Wolves winning percentage, we'll just leave it at that, doesn't improve significantly next year, I'm going to be pretty surprised. You have a real coach this time, so we would like to believe. And we have an enormous... We're not the 90s Bulls, but we have an enormous amount of talent on this roster. We do. Kevin Love's the best rebounder in basketball. Michael Beasley's a 20-plus game guy. Wesley Johnson, which we're going to say this right now. I hope you're listening, Max. Your young cousin, Max. And, of course, he's my friend as well. Yep, Max. I hope you're listening. He said something. I can't believe he said it. What's that? He said that Wesley Johnson's already reached his ceiling. What do you think of that?
What?
Yeah. Wesley Johnson's already reached his ceiling. He only averaged like 9-10 points a game last year.
He's pretty good. I just wish he was a lot more aggressive. Like certain games, like when he played against the Lakers, and I think it's because he trained with Kobe that he was finally putting some effort in and being a whole lot more aggressive.
Yeah. He was pretty amazing against LA. Clearly the guy has a ton of talent, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like we said it pretty much, was it within the first month or so? The Timberwolves made the right decision with that pick.
Yeah.
Congratulations, David Kahn. You get some props for that. Wesley Johnson, 4th overall, great pick. DeMarcus Cousins has a chance to be very good as well, but Wesley Johnson might be a real legit piece here.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he is. He's not Jordan, but he might be Pippen, maybe.
Yeah.
He's got some Pippen qualities, which you like to mention.
Yeah.
Actually, talk about that a little bit. Maybe his Pippen qualities.
Well, his defense, I think, with his arm length, he can do that. Mm-hmm. And I think he's willing to become a defensive stopper.
He kind of has that. He has that look to him. There's no doubt about it. When you see him play, he certainly can hit the outside shot. And when he gets aggressive to that basket, that's kind of a little bit Pippen offensively. Pippen isn't this 40-point guy. He never was. He was more of a upper teens, low 20s guy, which I think Wesley Johnson has in his future. His crystal ball, I think he's going to be a upper teen, lower 20 guy, I think, when he does really reach his true ceiling. So, yeah, Max, we love you. I wish they recorded the debate between you and him about Westbrook. Oh, my God, that would have been classic fodder. That would have been great fodder for just a flat-out basketball show, which Timberwolves Explosion can be both, but Timberwolves and just basketball in general, too, because we like to wander into other topics across the league. That was an awesome conversation, though. And Max would be a welcome addition to this show someday if you're listening. Yeah, he'd be fun to have on, wouldn't he? Maybe a little triangle. Yeah, a little triangle of power. But the lockout. Aren't you excited that the lockout is still going? And you know what they always like to do in these lockouts? They like to get our hopes up. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah, especially what Fisher was saying that progress. But
yes, leave it to Fisher too, a guy we just disdain as a player. You right?
Yeah.
As a player, As a player, yeah. I mean, we're making progress, and supposedly he secretly told the players, "Oh, get in shape get ready for training camp." Supposedly he said that. There was like that in Real GM or Yahoo. I think it was Yahoo. That supposed that was like a rumor that he said that, like, hey, get ready, And then it's just kind of starting to hit a wall here. They said at least they're talking, though. I mean, I'll give them that much. At least they've been consistent about talking. But now they're saying negotiations are going slow. And they have canceled 43 preseason games and postponed training camp. The damage is beginning. The floodwaters are starting to come into the basement, Marcus. Once they reach the first floor, the season's over. So let's just once the floodwater reaches the first floor, the season's over. So it's just starting to trickle into the basement. It's early still, but the damage is beginning, and it sucks. It sucks. So now what's going to happen? We already talked about the guys that come into. Some guys are going to come in better shape than ever. Some guys might come in really out of shape. And last time there was a lockout, there were casualties. And obviously, no, people weren't dying, but their careers were dying because either didn't practice enough and their career went down the toilet, or they were guys who were kind of bubble roster spot guys who were lockout casualties. Like Anthony Goldwire. I don't know how I can remember his name. That's how big of an NBA fan I am. But he was looked down as a solid backup point guard in the league. But after the lockout, for whatever reason, that was the end of him. He just kind of faded, the poor guy. He became a 10-day contract. Remember that type of player? That's our famous thing
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, the being in shape part.
It's huge.
I'm glad that there's a lot of Wolves out there, Wolves players who are still playing right now.
They're participating. That is humongous. All the important ones are participating. The big four, we'll call it. One of them is not. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. Darko. I don't even want to talk. Okay, go ahead.
I think Darko's doing
I hate him.
like a Rocky type training, in the woods.
Mm-hmm. He might be. I hope he's doing something. I almost said I hate him. You could probably almost do that under your breath here, but
posting up trees and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's slow enough that the tree might block him, right? It just might. Oh man, he's so slow. Yeah, he is. and his baby hook sometimes hits the wrong side of the backboard. I was listening to an old show a few weeks ago. That was funny. I forgot about that. It was like a game against Dallas. You know how you're trying to go glass, right? His shot was so off it hit the wrong side of the backboard, meaning the rim, like say you're shooting from the left side, you want the ball to hit the left side of the backboard and bounce in, right? Well, it hit the right side of the backboard. It was so off. It's like, Darko, oh my God, Darko, how could you be that bad? That is a joke. A complete joke. It's like, are you serious, man? But no, we'll see what happens there. I have no idea. Maybe he'll be a casualty of this thing. Who knows? But the big four, Williams, Rubio, guys like that, Love, and Beastly are all participating in various basketball camps, basketball leagues, whatever, all over the place. And props to them. Thank God for that, right? You gotta like it.
Yeah.
You gotta like it.
We have Rubio, Johnson,
Wesley
Beasley,
too, yep.
Yeah, Beasley, Williams, and Love.
That's 5 guys. I said 4. Whoops. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, it is 5 guys. That's crazy. 3 forwards and 2 guards, or guard forward and
well, Love's doing
Wesley.
volleyball, but
but at least he's in shape.
Yes, that's what we're trying to say. He's staying active. That's what we want.
Just please don't get hurt.
We don't want a bunch of Currys coming back.
Yeah, and, Eddie. Yes, that's the thing. Yep, Eddie Curry's. There will be some Eddie Currys coming back from this lockout. There will be.
Oh yeah.
Like in football, there was a Eddie Curry for the Vikings. You guys out there that are football fans, you know who Bryant McKinney is. He's probably his playing weight's maybe 330, and he showed up around 400. And that's in pounds, of course. And he was a casualty, at least of the roster, going up with Baltimore Ravens, and we'll see what happens there. But Purple Mafia is available on the sportstuff.com and iTunes. It's a Minnesota Viking podcast. I'd like you to check that out, sportstuff.com and iTunes. But this kind of thing does happen. Right now, the good news is I don't really see anybody on the Wolves roster being like that. But we might see some pretty established veteran-type players out there in this game that will come back out of shape and not as good. I mean, Vin Baker of the Seattle Supersonics did the same thing that the guy he was traded for, Sean Kemp, did during the 99 lockout. It just didn't turn out very pretty for those guys. It really didn't indeed. With that, anything else you want to say about the lockout, or you kind of...
Hope it ends soon.
I do too.
I'm too excited. I just want to see what's going to happen with all this.
Yeah.
Especially Williams.
We got all this momentum coming into the Minnesota Timberwolves. You got 3 huge pieces coming into this organization, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky Rubio, who had an awesome little press conference when he came here. I mean, regardless of what you might see on the court in Spain, which isn't very positive right now. At all. I mean, it's like, wow, this is
horrible.
Weird. It's horrible. It's weird, isn't it?
I'm shaking my head right now. You can't see me, but it's that horrible.
Yeah, yep, and that's classic radio right there, where you kind of describe what you're doing. Yep, because you have to, because you can't see them. But it is going to be interesting to see just how much of an improvement this young point guard can bring to this roster. And you also bring in the number 2 overall pick in Derek Williams, who has a chance to be absolutely the bomb. And, of course, the head coach. It's going to be it's going to be fun to see just how much better this team is going to be. But it's a thing. It's like it's just classic Minnesota sports luck, isn't it? You bring in all this, finally, some potential buzz around an organization that's been through some really tough times.
Yeah.
Some really tough times for a very sustained period. I mean, they trade away Garnett. About 75% of the fan base just flat out goes dormant. And it frustrated the living crap out of me, just how dormant the fan base went. But now, finally, here we go. The Rubio revolution. Then you also have the number 2 pick with a guy that who knows how good Derek Williams can be. Who knows how good he's going to be. You never know. You never know. And then you bring in the first truly flat-out legitimate NBA Finals coach to this team. I mean, he is a legitimate NBA coach, finally. That's exciting. And we're dying. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I might sound a little crazy here, but
yeah.
I'm looking more forward to seeing what Lee can do, Michael Lee, than Rubio. What Rubio can do.
Malcolm Lee?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's an interesting thought. Tell us what your...
I don't know. With Rubio, I'm not putting too much into it. Because, again, watching Wolves games, I have high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of being let down. So I'm not even... Rubio is just... I see him as just he has potential, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing him as a savior.
No.
That kind of sees him as.
Yeah.
I just see Lee right now having more NBA potential.
This guy. Really?
It's just me, yeah. And I'm also excited about Randolph.
Oh, that's the other... Yeah,
I heard he put on some more muscle. Really, actually, this time he did. Instead of Warriors and Knicks players saying he's putting on muscle.
Yeah, it's the real thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be... Yeah, that's the other guy, too, that it's kind of getting lost in the shuffle because of all this other buzz. And that's good that you brought him up. Anthony Randolph. Now, a lot of magazines and stuff list him as one of the promising players in this roster, and the Star Tribune did it an awful lot as well. But, yeah, most of the radio shows and stuff out there that actually talk about the Wolves they talk about the Wolves. I mean, we could have 3 Timberwolves explosion shows, and you'll get more Timberwolves basketball. You know, you could have 3 Timberwolves explosion shows a year, and you'll probably get more Timberwolves basketball than KFAN offers. And I'm sorry, those of you out there, they don't really talk Wolves at all.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't, and it frustrates me. But, and sorry for calling them what I did. I like the station, but I hate the fact they don't talk Wolves. But, yeah, I mean, I was digressing way too much. I'll get back to Anthony Randolph. Yeah, the guy has immense potential.
Yeah.
His athletic ability is amazing, quite frankly. And like we were talking about in earlier episodes, you were like, Kevin Love who? When Kevin Love was hurt and Randolph started. Yep.
Yeah. Basically the same stats. A little bit less rebounding,
yeah.
but more shot blocking and defense.
Yeah, the guy, when you add a little bit of defense to a team that needs defense so badly, oh my God, does this team need defense? That's an awesome addition to the team. That was a great trade. I mean, we can make fun of David Kahn a million times, and there's so much material to make fun of David Kahn, including the hypocrisy in the newspaper about the Portland Trail Blazers organization and now the current organization that he was hired to run, even though he may not be qualified in that area. More of a business and sports writer type, probably than a player management type. But he's made some excellent moves though along the way. The drafting of Wesley Johnson was an excellent move. Trading for 2 second-round picks for Beasley. Beasley's a loose cannon, but he is very talented. The Anthony Randolph trade, he might be sort of a loose cannon, but not really. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's not really as much of a loose cannon as Beasley, and he can play, huh?
Yeah. I wish that he was playing in more of the like the Drew leagues that Kevin Durant and Beasley are playing in.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice.
Yeah, because this is his chance to knock Darko out of the starting center position.
It's an opportunity if the guy, he does need to bulk up. I mean, that's the one thing Darko has in his favor.
Yeah,
is muscle.
Yeah, and I heard that's what Randolph was doing. Because if I was his agent, as soon as the Wolves pick Williams, I'll say, okay, There's no time for you at power forward. Mm-hmm. You gotta be center now.
Or at least, try to play some center. I mean, at least you're going to have to fit into the position. Especially, this isn't the day and age of, like I've said 1,000 times. Well, a certain 350-pound guy isn't in the league anymore because he's going to be behind the microphone.
Yeah.
So that's one less guy to, worry about getting your back broke or your wrist broke. Yeah, there's Dwight Howard, but Dwight Howard isn't 7 foot.
Yeah.
Amari Stoudemire is not 7 foot. Al Jefferson's not 7 foot. It just goes on and on and on. There aren't really the classic, stereotypical, good old days centers anymore. The Robinsons, Ewings. You can be a little bit undersized and be a successful center in this game.
Yeah, especially with Randolph's ability to play above the rim.
Yeah.
Block shots. I think he would be able to stop Dwight. Not every time.
Not major, obviously, not physically, but
you can slow him down. At least throw his shots off.
Yeah, maybe knock the ball out of his hand a little bit.
Yeah.
Be a pest.
Yeah.
That's the key right there. Yep, be a pest. I think he can be a pest, and that's his deal. That's what he can be for this team, and again, props to David Kahn for that move. He has made some excellent moves, believe it or not. The drafting of Wesley Johnson, probably the best, because he really had a lot of us against him on that one, and he won. David Kahn won that argument so far, unless DeMarcus Cousins turns out to be the next Dwight. Who knows? Maybe he will, but I doubt it. Anthony Randolph trade, though, awesome. I think it's an awesome move. Really, all we gave up was pretty much Corey Brewer, right? We didn't really give up much to get him, really at all. Oh, yeah, we got rid of Kufos. I think we got a pick back, didn't we? I remember. I think we did get a pick of some kind in return. Let's just hope we're not going to use it to get cash again.
And the good thing about the pick, I hope we give the Clippers like a 8th pick.
Oh, that too. Yep, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. We can kind of close the show with this.
Go ahead.
Yep.
I'm not sure of this, but do you know? I'm not sure if they even will get our pick if there's no season.
Oh,
I don't know how that works.
That would be fantastic if that was the case, but I think it'll be retroactive to what season exists, if you know what I mean. Well, then again, that would be the funniest thing ever if the season got canceled, and it's like, sorry, that counts.
Yeah, you said
because they did a very mean thing in the NHL. They did something really mean in the National Hockey League. Cruel thing they pulled. Remember, was it 04-05? The NHL season ended up being completely canceled due to that lockout. And players that had a 3-year contract, that counted as a year. Guess what? You only have 2 years left on your deal. Like, that's cruel, isn't it? They didn't get paid for that whole year. The NHL got out of it. That's cruel. So, if that counts as a draft pick, that would be awesome if those got out of that.
Yeah, because in the
excuse me, I'm coughing now.
In the trade, it doesn't say after 4 years you get our pick. Mm-hmm. After 4 years of playing, it says the date.
Ooh, I don't know. Wouldn't that be great? I'm guessing it counts as seasons, but I'm guessing. We'll see, but that would be the funniest thing ever. But regardless,
that's wishful thinking. Because I
wishful
want
thinking.
The first pick.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, and he's probably whoever he is. He's probably not as good as people are excited in the NFL about the quarterback Andrew Luck. Like, let's suck for luck. The suck for luck sweepstakes, such as the NFL. Andrew Luck, quarterback of somebody. No, I'm just kidding. But it's because this is not a football show, which I'm already screwing the thing up by doing it. So sorry about that. But 90% chance it's probably going to the Clippers because it's probably still counts.
Yeah, we're not going to be that bad, so they're not going to get that great of a pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Let's compete. Let's win some basketball games this year so we don't have to sweat out the fact that, the possibility of, oh boy, they just got.
We're tanking for a good player.
Yeah, like maybe they just got the next Paul Pierce at minimum, or the next Garnett, or the next Pippen. That would suck, wouldn't it? Well, we're just sitting here winning 23 games. I don't want that to happen again. Let's just go out and kick some butt and give them the 11th or 12th pick, and they get another Wayne Ellington. Let's just leave it at that. We can live with that possibility, right? Even though it did get us Marko Jaric. Oh, that was an awesome trade by Mikhail. Awesome. But
I gotta admit, I even thought when Jaric, before he got hurt, he was he had like Nash type assists.
Yeah, assists and steals.
Yeah.
He had some. It looked like he had value. It's just unfortunately, when he came here, whatever we saw disappeared, and we did see it, but it went away. So really, and the other last player, really quick, obviously Kevin McHale did make up for it with a fantastic trade to get Kevin Love. It wasn't popular at the time at all, but about 2 years in, we started realizing, oh my God, McHale actually did something majorly right here. Not only got cap space, but he even got the better player between Kevin Love and OJ Mayo, who I still would like to see on this team in a different move. Not for Kevin Love, but for someone else.
Yeah.
So, in closing, anything you got to add? Or would like to add?
I pretty much got everything off my chest there.
Yeah, this is a fun show, about a 90-minute deal, almost 90 minutes. It'll probably be about that by the time I'm done with the contact details. This was a blast yet again. I hope to have you on more and more often. Sometimes tough to book this guy, but I mean, schedules get in the way. I mean,
so popular,
Yes, he's popular, and I'm popular, and we work. The schedule is just so difficult. My work schedule sucks big time sometimes, and it's a lot of everything. But hey, this show is just an absolute joy to me. It is it is like it is my absolute pride and joy. Timberwolves Explosion. My favorite thing, pretty much my favorite thing to do, is come in here and talk about the Wolves. I mean, I always would get so frustrated when those stations in this town would not talk Wolves. So it's like, doggone it, let's do it. Let's be that little beacon for Wolves fans that are just dying to hear Timberwolves talk on the radio. And I guess I'm a little hypocritical, but I was hypocritical by not being more available this summer. But I guess the biggest excuse of all is a stupid lockout. But when that lockout ends, it's going to be a free agent frenzy, and we can't wait, can't we? Isn't that going to be fun?
Yeah, but I don't know if we're even going to have enough money for that.
We'll have the cap space, but I don't know. I don't know who's going to come and who isn't, but at least there's something.
I think we're going to have to trade Pekovic.
Somebody's going to have to go. And, yeah, I mean, there will be players that are not here in the future, possibly Darko or Peck. I think one of those guys will be gone. Yeah, I can see that. Maybe Luke Ridnour's gone. Maybe Wayne Ellington's gone. There will be changes, and we can't wait until that free agent frenzy does come, and we hope it comes sooner than later. And I'd love to have you on again for season preview. Will you do that? Like when the lockout does end, you'll be back, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's your announcement. Oh, because that's tradition. That's one thing that has been an absolute tradition for this show. Marcus the Forecaster, available and on lawn and on demand on Timberwolves Explosion for the season preview. It'll be the 4th season already for season preview. Won't that be something? That's how long we've already been doing Wolves Explosion. That's weird, huh? So, a few contact details. I forgot to even talk about the Facebook group. Facebook. I created a Facebook page now. Look it up in Facebook, of course. Look up the Minnesota Timberwolves or Timberwolves Explosion, Minnesota Timberwolves. Look that up. There are 2 options now, the Facebook page and the Facebook group. Please do go to the Facebook page, because that's a new creation that I'd like to have. Go there and click like. Go onto the page and click like. It'll say company underneath it. There's Timberwolves Explosion group and Timberwolves Explosion page. Go to the page, please. I'd appreciate that. Click like. The more, the merrier. And then I can finally say facebook.com/Timberwolves Explosion. Instead of just having you to look it up in the space bar. I need more likes on the page before I can say that. Also, there's a Twitter account, twitter.com/Wolves Explosion, since Timberwolves Explosion doesn't fit, to twitter.com/Wolves Explosion. Don't forget about the message boards on the sportstuff.com. Do join those pages. Do join those boards. Go to the website, thesportstuff.com. Click on the button in the upper right-hand corner that says TSS Boards. Then register. And there are a lot of NBA fans on that website that you will really enjoy talking to. I mean, there's some fun guys in there. Rusty PMAC, who in particular do the crossover podcast, which is available also on the sportstuff.com and on iTunes. They are awesome. I mean, there's two great duos that do NBA podcasts on that website, and well, I think me and the forecaster, Marcus the forecaster, are a fantastic duo. Palladino Joey and Marcus the forecaster are a fantastic duo, but so are Rusty and PMAC. And both shows are fairly long because we like to interact when we do our shows. Go to that show. Do check it out. You will love it. So there you go. There's some free plugs for you, Rusty and PMAC. And there's other guys out there that love to talk basketball, including Aussie Wolf, who also talks on Facebook.com as well. Thank you, all of you, for participating in the past, present, and future. Thank you all so very much. So until the next show, which we hope is sooner than later, we will bid adieu. Do take care, everybody. Go Timberwolves, and thank God for Rick Adelman.